Are you serious? Are you serious? Yes, I am. They are here. ET phone home. Well, guys, I'm going to take a moment and read one of the most serious comprehensive reports. One second here. I really one of the most serious, most comprehensive reports on alien sightings, alien abductions, and just the whole phenomenon, because you won't believe how many people in America and the world are now professing and confessing that they have actually seen a living, breathing alien. I'm going to touch on this, okay? But first, can I put a quick shout out on don'twastepower.com? That's don'twastepower.com. Recent reports reveal the U.S. electricity bills are we've hit a 10-year record high this summer, all because, and partly because, that the greedy power companies are gouging us. But really, to be honest, the inflation rates and the price of energy is so high. That's why you can lower your energy cost, or at least give it some kind of relief, if you get this little incredible, it's really incredible, awesome little device. Absolutely, I love this thing. It's cost saving. Plug it in. Get this right now, and it will help cut down your electricity cost because of the levels out the flow of the electricity into your home. If it's herky jerky and it's costing more, if this grabs it and smooths it out, then the cost could be as much as 10%, 20%, 25%. One guy said he cut his cost of his electricity bill to 40%, even in times like this. Guys, here's what, listen, just go to don'twastepower.com. Go to don'twastepower.com. Again, go to don'twastepower.com. Click on the link below this video, and you could actually save 66% off the price of this little gadget, and you'll be glad. You'll be very glad that you did. A lot of people have just kept. I'm getting emails about saying, Paul, this is incredible. And I guess it depends on how bad the flow of the electricity is into your home. If yours is really smooth, it may not see much of a difference. But if yours is really bad, you'll probably see a huge difference in the price. Okay. Check this out. Check it out. Also, we are in the Feast of Tabernacles. We're right in the middle of it. If you haven't sent your Feast of Tabernacle offerings in, please do that. As the Lord said in the book of Leviticus, don't come empty-handed. What the Lord basically says is this. He required under the law 7 days, 7 days, 7 offerings given to the Lord, and then the celebration on the 8th day. I'm not saying we're not under the law now. Christ didn't come to do away with the law, but he did come to fulfill the law. And he has done that through his death, burial, and resurrection. But this Feast of Tabernacles, all of the 7 feasts, all of the 7 feasts are in play right now. They all bring the blessing if you follow. Okay. They all bring the blessing if you follow. But you need to understand that this blessing doesn't end at the cross. It's fulfilled there, but the blessing continues. God is the same yesterday, forevermore. And I tell you, he will really bless you mightily. Even in the New Testament, Jesus was keeping the feast when he was performing miracles and if you go to St. John chapter 7. And even Zechariah the prophet said, in the millennial reign, when Christ comes back for 1,000 years, Christ will be requiring everyone that representatives of each nation and families would send a representative to Jerusalem every year, from year to year, it says, to worship the King and to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. You can find that in Zechariah 14, verse 16. So this is a very important feast. People are so blessed when they give the Feast of Tabernacles. And you can do that right now. Go to our website at paulbegleyprophecy.com or pick up the phone today and call at 765-414-2230. You'll be very glad that you did. All right, let's talk about these ET phone home. Let's talk about, really, this is a serious report, because anytime you can say that 24% of Americans, 24% of this nation of America says they have seen a UFO. That is 1 in 4. That is unbelievable. But the belief in alien visits to the earth, guys, right now is really spiraling out of control. And this is why that's very dangerous. Now, the idea that aliens may have visited the earth is becoming increasingly popular. We did a video this year called Aliens Among Us. And we did a video last year called Aliens Above and Below. Okay. And I've done several webinars where I've brought in a lot of guests and experts on this subject. And you can still get those. You can get that. If you go to my website, you can actually go order Aliens Among Us today and be watching it in the next 10 minutes from now. Okay. It's available at my website. Just and get all the great speakers. But the idea that aliens have visited the earth is becoming increasingly popular. About 20% of UK citizens believe the earth has been visited by extraterrestrials. And an estimated 7% of all UK citizens say they've seen a UFO. The figures are even way higher in the United States. The number of people who believe UFO sightings offer likely proof of alien life is now at 20. It was 20% in 1996. It's now 34%. People believe aliens are real and have visited the earth. 24% of Americans say they've seen a UFO. What? Now, this belief, are you serious? This belief is slightly paradoxical as we have zero evidence, at least the government says that aliens even exist. I'm not so sure about that, but here's what they're saying. What's more, given the vast distances between the star systems, it seems odd that we'd only learn about them from a visit. Evidence of aliens is more likely to come from signals from faraway planets. Now, in a paper accepted for publication in the Proceedings of the International Astronomical Union, there was an argument that the belief in alien visitors is no longer a quirk, but a widespread societal problem. The belief is now rising to the extent that politicians, at least in the United States, feel they have to respond to this. The disclosure of information about claims of an unidentified anomalous phenomenon, or UAPs, rather than using the term UFOs, from the Pentagon has got a lot of bipartisan attention in this nation. Much of it plays upon familiar anti-elite tropes that both parties have been ready to use, such as the idea that the military and a secretive cabal, a private commercial interest, are keeping the deep, dark truth about the alien visitation hidden. The truth is believed to involve sightings, abductions, and reverse engineered alien technology. Now, belief in a cover-up is even higher than belief of an alien visitation. In 2019, a Gallup poll was found that a staggering 68% of all Americans believe the U.S. government knows more about UFOs than they are telling us. And this political trend has been decades in the making. President Jimmy Carter promised document disclosure during his presidential campaign in 1976, several years after his own reported UFO sighting. But some people say that Jimmy Carter didn't see a UFO, that he actually saw the planet Venus. President Carter disagrees. Hillary Clinton also suggested she wanted to open the Pentagon files as much as I can, she said, and during her presidential campaign against Donald Trump, as seen in many videos. But Trump suggested that he'd need to think about it, whether it was possible to declassify those so-called Roswell documentation relating to the notorious claim crash of a UFO and the recovery of alien bodies. A former President Bill Clinton claimed to have sent his chief of staff, John Podesta, who was a weirdo anyway, down to Area 51 to highly classified U.S. Air Force facility, just in case any of the rumors about alien technology at the site were true. It is worth noting that Podesta is a long-time enthusiast for all things to do with UFOs. We also know he was involved in spirit cooking with some of the secret covens. The most prominent current advocate of document disclosure is Democrat Senate Leader Chucky Schumer. He said back in 2023 that the UAP disclosure bill for revealing some UAP records was co-sponsored by 3 different Republican senators. Now, Pentagon disclosure finally began during the early stages of Joe Biden's term here in office. But so far, there has been nothing to see here. Nothing looks like an encounter, nothing that looks close. So what people are saying is Joe Biden is promising to disclose, but he's still holding back and not releasing the truth. Now, there's a lot of noise about this, guys. As a matter of fact, this is a problem for society. Think this over. All of this ultimately encouraging conspiracy theories, which could undermine the trust in the democratic institutions. There have been humorous calls to storm Area 51. And after the storming of the Capitol back in 2021, this is possible, an increasingly dangerous situation that people may actually storm Area 51. Too much background noise about UFOs and UAPs can also get in the way of legitimate science communication about the possibility of finding a microbial extraterrestrial life or astrobiology. The science dealing with such matters has a far less effective publicity machine than UFOlogy. History, a YouTube channel on the History Channel on YouTube that's partly owned by Disney, regularly delivers shows about ancient aliens. What? Guys, I think that the thing is, there's so much conversation about these things. I mean, they're just way too much smoke. Could there be really fire? And are we really talking about aliens from another planet or another galaxy? Or are we talking about the remnants of the Nephilim or the fallen angels and different levels of species of angels or angelic or principalities and powers, the spiritual wickedness that we deal with on humanity's level? Are the demons or the fallen angels or the fallen Nephilim, are they being misrepresented and called aliens? Well, NASA, look, Ancient Aliens been on the air for 20 years now and has over 13.8 million subscribers on YouTube. The NASA Astrobiology channel has a hard one, 20,000 subscribers. Actual science finds itself badly outnumbered by the entertainment repackaged as factual. Alien visitations narratives have also repeatedly tried to hijack, maybe, and even overwrite the history and mythology of indigenous people. And I know Rex Bear really looks into that a lot. He's very concerned that, that the indigenous people are being misrepresented also and called aliens or ancient aliens. The first steps in this direction go back to Alexander Kazanstov, a scientist, and a fiction tale called Explosion, the Story of the Hypothesis. This was written in 1946. It represents the 1908 meteorite there in that hit in Tunguska. This event was almost like a Nagasaki-like explosion of an alien spacecraft engine. And he said that in a single giant black female survivor has been left stranded, equipped with special healing powers. And this led to her adoption as a shaman by the indigenous Pkwy people. Now, NASA and the space science community do not support this effort, such as Native Skywatchers Initiative, but set up by the indigenous Ajobi and Lakota communities to ensure the survival of storytelling about the stars. Of course, there's their Skinwalker Ranch that Navajo Indians and other scientists and physicists have studied and discussed. And there's a real extensive network of indigenous scholarships about this matter. UFOologists promise a far higher profile for indigenous history in return for the mashing together of genuine and indigenous, oh boy, here we go. PBV, that's probably vocabulary. Vernacular, publicly vernacular. Okay. These stories about life arriving from the skies with fictional tales. What? About UFOs repackaged as suppressed history. The modern alien visitation narrative has not. After all, it emerged out of the indigenous communities. Quite the opposite. It emerged in part as a way for conspiracy-minded thinkers in Europe, torn apart by racism, to try to explain how complex urban civilizations in places like South Africa, like Peru, and that could have existed prior to European settlements. The Mayan Indians, the Incas, the Aztecs, and the ancient Peruvians, and other civilizations, lost civilizations in Mexico and in Central America and in South America, squeezed through a new age filter in the 1960s. Counter culture, the narrative was flipped to value these native people as having once possessed advanced technology. And it's, in other words, reverse engineered technology. Now, once upon a time, according to this view, native civilizations, a fictional country appearing in America and in comic books, was published by Marvel Comics. And all of this stayed in its own box as entertaining fiction. Then matters would be fine, but that's not what it's done. Because of the millions and millions and millions of people who say they have seen a UFO, or saw a lot that say they have been visited, and some that say they've even been abducted, and others who even said they've been violated. These narratives tend to overwrite the Native American storytelling about sky and ground. This is a problem for everyone. What about all the crop circles that are, especially in the United Kingdom, unexplained and very, very, very disturbing? Now, this is a problem for everyone, not just the native civilizations, peoples struggling to continue authentic traditions, but it threatens our grasp of the past. And when it comes to insight into our remote ancestors, the remnants of a prehistoric storytelling are few and precious, such as within the native civilization storytelling about the stars and the star people. Now, for instance, the tale of the Pleiades, which the Pleiades is in the Bible. It dates back in standard forms at least 50,000, some believe 50,000 years ago, and continues even until this day. So this is a phenomenon. Uh, this may be why these tales in particular are so heavily targeted by alien visitation enthusiasts, some of whom even claim to be Pleiadians. Have you heard of that? People who believe they're from the Pleiades. No surprise, because Pleiadians do not look like these other tribal people, but are strikingly blonde, blue-eyed, and Nordic looking. It is increasingly clear that belief in alien visitation is no longer just a fun speculation in the comic books, but something that has real and damaging consequences. Now, I believe that in the grand scheme of things and in the great end time strong delusion and deception, is Satan is going to use every tool and everything he can. There is unexplained things in the Bible. Like, what was those chariots of fire that came down and grabbed Elijah and it took him into heaven? What was that vehicle? What did Ezekiel see down by the river of Chebar when he said he saw the glory of the Lord and a wheel inside of a wheel? What was that? What was that mechanism? When you look at the different parts of the Bible that have these unexplained things, for instance, Job was questioning God and that, God, have you deserted me since I've been robbed of everything? My family got killed in a storm. I'm sitting here in boils from the top of my head to the soles of my feet. My best friends came over, stared at me, and blamed me for blaspheming against you. And my own wife said, why don't you just curse God and just die? God, where are you? This is really the conversation Job was having. And God said, are you serious? You're questioning me? Where were you when I formed the foundations of the world? Where were you? Okay, let me ask you a question, Job. Can you put a hook in the jaw of Leviathan, the demon serpent of the sea, and pull him out of the ocean? Job, do you want to go there? Do you understand the secrets of the snowflake? And God went on and on and on. You can read this for yourself in the 38th chapter, I believe it is, of the book of Job. And God even talks about the Pleiades. He does talk about the sweet influences from the Pleiades. And he talks about the constellation of Orion, and that the things that are going to be coming from there, as if there's another world, another civilization. What do you mean, sweet influences of the Pleiades, of that constellation? Is that just a metaphoric discussion, or is God trying to tell us that, look, you earthlings have only so much of a concept of civilization and realization, but you don't understand, I am God. And could God have made 100 more earths, or maybe 1,000,000 more earths? How big is this universe? It has no beginning, it has no end, just like God had no beginning or no end. He does say we had a beginning. That's why he says in the beginning, and he does say we have an end. And he even said Jesus is Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. Yet God is infinite. God is omnipresent. God has no beginning of days nor end of life. God even decides what time is, for there is no time except God made time. And then at one point he will say there is no time. Time shall be no more. What is all of this? And what are these angelic hosts? Who are seraphims? What are the seraphims and the cherubims and the archangels and the other ministering spirits? And who is Lucifer and his principalities and powers and band of demons that operate in a different stratosphere, a different dimension than we're in? And are these visitations that people are seeing, are they really UFO, unexplained extraterrestrials from another planet, another galaxy? Or are they the visitation of angelic beings, whether they be good or bad? Is it okay to question these things and ask these questions? And will we ever have the exact answer to all of this? Will God, and after when it's all said and done and we're in the presence of the Lord in eternal glory, does God finally say, can I let you guys in on a secret? Let me show you other species and civilizations and galaxies and interstellar communication with other creatures that I've created throughout the eons of time. Let me just show you these entities and my plan for them. I mean, what if that happens? Are you serious? I don't know. L.A. Marzulli, very good friend of mine who is excellent in discussing the deception Satan likes to use, this mysterious, unexplained phenomenon, and to confuse people, get people to believe there is no God, that we were just seated here by aliens, that we're just the mischievous children of the extraterrestrials, and that they're now coming back to save us before we blow ourselves up with nuclear bombs. I mean, there's a lot of incredible deception that's being played out. It's okay to ask questions. It's okay to seek the mighty wisdom and the hidden secrets and mysteries of God, but never to the point that you make a determination that there is no God. Now, that's the moment that you have been completely deceived. But acknowledging that God could have it be much broader and more expanded in his overall vision, that's understandable and makes sense. I mean, it blows my mind when I read Genesis 6 and these Nephilim. When I read that the sons of God looked upon the daughters of men and saw that they were fair and took them wives as they chose, and they bore them children, mighty men of great renown, giants in the land. It just blows my mind to think of this this whole Nephilim concept. But it's in there, and it's obvious it's true. Look how many skeletal bones of giants have been found. This is one of the things that Marzulli has done for years, Steve Quayle, and some of today's modern day Indiana Joneses, like Alberino. What's his first name? Forgot his first name for a minute. I mean, a lot of these folks, they're involved. They're finding the proof. They're finding the mounds, finding Timothy. Thank you. Timothy Alberino. Great kid. Great. Really, I had a great lunch with him one time, and I've interviewed him a couple of times. And I think I even interviewed him on one of my webinars. Seemed like I'm just a great kid. I find that he's a pastor's son, it's just, he's a great researcher, and there's a lot of them. We've had our, unfortunately, we've lost Tom Horn, but we've had some great researchers over the years. But really, L.A. Marzulli is a guy, along with Steve Quayle. They're really the guys that kind of blaze this trail to ask the questions about Genesis chapter 6 and what does this all mean. It's interesting. It really is. It doesn't change the gospel at all. It doesn't change Christ's reason to come up to this earth and give his life on the cross for redemption of humanity. It does not change that story, not at all. But it does cause us to look into the vastness of the creation and into the mysterious mind of God. It's not a Hemingway novel, but it is quite intriguing. The Word of God. I see geese flying high above the water, a child fishing with his father in the rain. I can smell blackberry brandy and chocolate-covered candy. I see a soldier crying on a train, falling asleep, reading Hemingway. And the light under the Tiffany lamp glows all night long as I dream with weary wonder, leaving Earth before the dawn. I walked the lonely streets of Paris. I was lost and so afraid, falling asleep, reading Hemingway. I feel the deepness of his weakness. I can taste the brandy sweetness at a roadside Idaho cafe. I can hear old Teddy laughing, Fitzgerald's toes a tapping to the roaring sounds of yesterday. Falling asleep, reading Hemingway. And the light under the Tiffany lamp glows all night long as I dream with weary wonder, leaving Earth before the dawn. I walked the lonely streets of Paris. I was lost and so afraid, falling asleep, reading Hemingway. And the light under the Tiffany lamp glows all night long as I dream with weary wonder, leaving Earth before the dawn. I walked the lonely streets of Paris. I was lost and so afraid, falling asleep, reading Hemingway. And a shotgun blast echoed across the page, falling asleep, reading Hemingway. Well, I know if you're out there right now, you know this is October. Heidi would tell you that you want to make sure you build your immune system up to protect you, of course, from whatever else is floating around. You can get immune support. It's at our website. This is the silver in a bottle, okay? And really, it's amazing. It will help really strengthen your immunity. It's a great support system supplement, and you just take one swig a day of that, and it will make you stronger and keep you, much more able to fight off all of the different germs out there. Matter of fact, you can, if you don't want to take that swig, but you're okay with spraying it, it's got a nasal spray, does the same thing, really. And it's Silver Biotics in a nasal spray. Okay. We just got that and brought that in. Also, guys, if you got, abrasions or some kind of cuts and wounds, we got some great silver gel. Okay. And this really, it's nano silver technology in the gel, really good stuff. You can that will help tremendously. And Israel Hall loves this stuff called Recover. It's we have this as well, Silver Biotics. Okay, this is a muscle cream, but I find it works very good also like on my joints. When my arthritic gets stirred up in the knee for me or shoulder, I find this to be very, very, very effective with that. And don't let that scratchy throat get you down. Don't let it. No. Get the best lozenges there is. silver lozenges with Manuka honey. This without a doubt is probably one of the best products I've ever seen. Anyway, we got all this at our website, so check it out. Go to paulbegleyprophecy.com and order your silver products today. Okay, you'll be glad you did, no doubt about that. All right, guys, I'm gonna let you go. We'll be back with more. Of course, it's a very busy day on this Friday. If you haven't watched last night's broadcast, it is mandatory. It's a it's one for the ages, really. Um, and Mike answers the question about he knows the time of the harvest. And it's very interesting how he pulled that together. And that and a whole lot more. We covered so much stuff on that show. Check it out. Go to my website or go to my YouTube channel, which you're on right now, and watch last night's broadcast. I'll be back, guys, with more current world events and how they relate to biblical prophecy. Don't forget Sunday morning, Kevin Wilson's going to be with me, and he'll be under the big tent live. It's going to be a great one. I mean, you're going to have Israel Hall and Pastor Melvin Whittington and the praise and worship team live. Kevin Wilson's going to sing a few songs as well, live on stage. I'll be preaching live, and God's going to be on the scene. Even Pastor Sammy Naik from India will be there. I mean, it's really a good Sunday to come to Freedom Fellowship under the big tent. Don't miss this one. It will be a great program, a great service. No doubt about that. A great time in the Lord. I'll be back, guys, with more right here on the coming apocalypse. They're here. They're here. But what are they?